Alright, so here's another series. I feel like I wanted to post many videos today, but as it is St. Patrick's Day is coming up, I don't know, I think maybe I should do this once in a while where there's a specific, not exactly holiday, but something that I think I can really relate with, because Ireland has it's a land of mystery, right? It's a land of fantasy. It's always, in Hollywood, what do they show when you think of Ireland? Oh, leprechauns and oh, that lucky me charms, kind of stuff. So I wanted to do something about a relocation chart that I'm reading the first time. Like, it's a chart that I'm going to just right off the bat just like interpret, and what it would be like if I moved to Ireland. So here it goes. Okay, so let's take a look. Right away, I see this shape here. It looks like the shape is kind of similar to what I already have in my birth chart naturally, but it's almost like it's completely inverted. Almost, a lot of it's focused on seventh house stuff. So the one thing that definitely comes up, surprise, surprise, Neptune, fantasy, illusions, all that stuff, imaginations, all that stuff, is highlighted in the career house, or rather not exactly career house all the time. It's reputation, it's ego, it's public sphere, all that stuff. And that's the one that's highlighted. That's the one that's like, I may have, with that, I think it's in conjunct. Yeah, it's conjunct to my 10th house, or rather the midheaven. So because it is 10th house stuff, let's go back into what 10th house is, right? So reputation, fame, promotion, ambition, business, social activities, governments, any authority over you, or it's where you influence and exert in your own circle. Church is an organization. Opposite parent of that represented by the 4th house. I don't have 4th house stuff here. At least in my chart there is one. But if I were to move to Ireland, yeah, you could say that it's maybe sort of an imaginary, probably, an imaginary or some sort of like maybe spiritual guidance. Not exactly, maybe it's also spiritual guidance itself, but also probably someone who's in the spiritual circle, or maybe a priest, or maybe someone who is opposite of my, which would be like, in my case, the sun was in my 4th house. So that means someone who's like a surrogate mother, probably, like myself, for myself. So profession might be in things like music, things like the arts, any sort of dancing, any sort of like, but also in the areas of spirituality, sort of anything that, I don't know, I might be a monk there, or I might encounter things that relate more with spirituality, things that are more idealistic, also things that are possibly also, or I could probably bring forth this kind of stuff if I were to move there. Probably also music. My music would probably flourish over there. Keep in mind though, because of the square to Neptune, I have 2 aspects squaring that. We have Jupiter and Venus. So Jupiter might be, in this case, because it's in the 7th house and Venus is there as well. So any sort of like contracts I may encounter, open enemies, might first seem like, it could go either way. It could be like they seem like friends, they seem like people I can trust, or seem like people I can get along with, but actually not. Or the opposite, they might seem like they are people I don't really trust, but in the long run, it's really good. Sorry, I didn't mean to shake my head like that, but yeah, it's really, it could go either way depending on my perspective, right? My own Neptune myself is something I have to come to terms with and say, what can I learn from Neptune? I'm going to go deeper into this because I'm kind of curious about this. Let's take a look. So Neptune, it's the victim, martyr, savior part of ourselves. So I might end up being like kind of like this self-sacrificing person in Ireland, always giving into imagination, my flights of fancy, those kind of things, and all in the name of love, right? Or idealism. I might also I might encounter addictive relationships or addictive sort of habits pertaining to the 7th house. Well, if we looked at the 7th house and what else it says, okay, I'm looking into my book here. The 7th house is not just contracts and all that stuff. Any sort of projection. I might sort of idealize what I project onto others and say, okay, well, I'll need. So it might, I don't know, if I'm conscious enough and if I continue to practice where I am right now, yoga, my Wim Hof method, all this stuff. If I were to say move now to Ireland, I would probably experience this less and be more like figure out what lessons I can learn from there. Because we also have Saturn in there in the 7th house, and we also have Pluto there. So it's all issues that in the 7th house, any 7th house stuff, open enemies, right? Just describes qualities someone seeks in a partner. Okay, qualities we seek in a partner. Okay, so relationships, matrimony, partnerships, unity, other people, projection, public enemies, lawsuits. Okay, I don't want that to happen, but you never know, right? So with that there, I'd have to be careful about Neptune. Although it's a freeing sort of placement here, it seems like, oh yeah, it's conjunct to my midheaven. It's like, okay, yay. But I also have to be aware of, like, if I don't listen, that whole, like, it'll become, instead of becoming imagination, it'll become excuse me, instead of imagination, it's illusions, right? Or delusions, rather. So so any of the world glamour as well is also there. So any, like I said, fantasy, over romanticization, idealism, right? Ideas, love, codependency as well. Codependency on even myself, like in terms of like my ego and what I want for, like I'm always going to be right or something like that, and I won't accept this from other people, and then there will be limitations brought forth by Saturn saying, wait a second, hold your horses before you come to conclusions. Wait, see what happens. Wait, right? So, but Pluto there is also going to show some 7th house stuff. It's going to be power struggles as well. There's one thing that's we're not really looking at here, though. There is another aspect here. It's 15 degrees, right? So we have 15 degrees in Sagittarius. So that normally means that Jupiter rules my midheaven there. So any sort of like expansion, but again, because it's in Virgo in the 7th house, it's going to be affected by technicalities, sort of things. I had to learn to be careful with that, and it's the same thing. So even if there's a fantastic side, and then I have to be careful about that, but at the same time, the placement of it in Virgo means like I have to be careful. Being careful is not just the issue here, being more like take it step by step. Right? It's the same thing that I do with my life now, except now it's in a different area of my life. It's going to be, instead of like Jupiter and Saturn in my 3rd house, which is communication, it's going to be in the 7th house, which is relationships. So it's probably going to appear similar, but not really. This is the one place when I was talking about, right here. This one aspect. Okay, right here, sorry. Vesta. We have right here. So Vesta is, I'm going to cheat. So I'm going to cheat here. Vesta is known for, I think it's yourself or something. Hold on, like it's where you feel. What is it? Earth and Moon, Astrology, okay. It gives insight into areas of life pertaining to morality, spiritual ritual, commitment to work, and domesticity. So, protection is interesting here. House placement is where you'll have protection. So, the open enemies thing won't be a problem, technically speaking. It's my choice to make it a problem. You remember, it's all about interpretation, how we perceive things, and free will, right? We all have a choice. It tells you about your sexual attitudes as well, to the sign, contribution to protection of others, Kundalini energy, okay, sacredness, because Vesta was Hestia in Roman mythology, or is it Greek mythology? I forgot. Hestia in Greek mythology. So it's all about purity and sacredness. So protection, because here Vesta is in Leo. Maturity. Okay, that's interesting, because it's in the 7th house. Okay, so it's all about wholeness and purification. So the way I understand Vesta, there's something about that. The one thing that came to me before, that comes to mind now, is what I learned before about Vesta, just something to do with protection or something like that. But in any case, it's where I would have to, I believe that Vesta is a part of the human psyche that seeks to sacredness. So in other words, it's that protection. It's the protection of your energy. That's why it's Kundalini energy. So what I feel that Vesta is a part of this that wants to, that seeks to